Okay, so voting to answer 12 questions here. So first off, I did have some issues. I'll be really transparent. Um, I am not able to get it to show up on this screen when you do the live server. Um, so just don't know how to do that. So just gonna kind of explain what I did here. And kind of go from that. So first I created an array for ages, going here and then console.logging to create ages. When this happens, it'll show up on the terminal over on the other screen. And then creating a let function here for minus age, console.logging that. Then creating a push for ages here for 100. Ages after pushing for any value, and then doing age -1. And then using the loop to iterate through the array and calculate the average age. It's supposed to be sum of ages, not sum. So that's another let function. Letting that equal 0. And then this was to create the variables or the I forget the word. So sum of ages plus to equal ages. And then console.log that for the index. So, and then continuing on, just getting the total sum for the average, for the sum of ages. And then this one is creating an array for these names here. So total character char 0, and then another index here to create an index for names. And then I know this is really bad. I am completely lost on JavaScript. I've already reached out to the mentor to kind of help me. So this may be very confusing and jumbled, and I apologize in advance. And then these are concatenated names here. Just console.logging. And then how do you access the last element? So with this one, you do the last element of the ages array, and then you do the length -1. When you want to get the first one, you go into the very first column or the row, I guess, however, and then that will always be 0 when starting. So then continuing on, name lengths, and then name lengths array. I wish I could show it on the other thing. It just was not working for me. And then created another index for the char's total. And then writing a function that takes 2 parameters, word and n. Function concat words and word par, word n. And then the let function, then console.logging that. And then this one is to create, it takes 2 parameters for first and last name. So you create a function for full name, and then in the parentheses, it's basically kind of like describing that function, like the objects needed for that function. So first and last name to create your full name. And then you do the let for full name equals first name. We weren't given a middle name, so that's in the quotations as like a missing object, I believe, then plus last name as your last component, and then you console.log full name to be able to receive and then full name outside of the curly brackets. And then here's another array for numbers, and then a function with an index here, console.log for total, and then this is an if or else. So this just creates a two type scenario. So if the total is greater than 100, it would be a true statement. If the total was, like less than 100 or anything, then it would return as false. That's what the else would be. And then calculate numbers average. So you write a function that takes an array numbers and returns the average of all the elements in the array. So this is another array. So with the total, sorry for the typos, the total equals 0 for the index, and then calculate function total, and then everything that's in quotations here like this is all just to kind of give a like a wording to your numbers in here. It doesn't it just creates, like, it shows this exactly word for word instead of it being like a function or it being like a variable of some kind. Same goes for like the average of numbers. So the average is total divided by array length. So console.log would show the average of numbers. So you get the average for that, and then the return would be the average. Almost done with this complete butchering of coding. And then just showing two averages, array 1 and array 2, showing the parameters here, and then letting that the functions equal 0. And then for a constant, a const, which is something that never changes. From my understanding, a const is something that stays consistent, I guess you could say. When a let variable can change, but a const can never change. If you, so it number of array, number plus or equal to total equal to number, and then just another const for array 2. So these like will always stay the same because it's a const. And then here's just for the average. Then the average is for that. And then this is an if or else statement. Now this one has two if statements. So it's if average 1 is greater than average 2, then it would be a true statement. It could also be if average 1 is less than average 2, it would be a false statement. Else, the possibility of these numbers are being equal. So that's just a different scenario of like the if or else. You can have different outcomes, and more ifs to be able to make your statements plausible. And then the last one here is write a function called will buy a drink that takes a boolean if it is hot outside. So here's the function of will buy a drink, in parentheses having their components of is hot outside, money in pocket. So you console.log the parameters, the is hot outside and money in pocket. And then the function is buy drink equals is hot outside. This is supposed to be equals true as long and with money in pocket is greater than 10.5. So the return would be buy drink. So if can we buy a drink if we have $15 and it's hot outside? Yes, true. If it's less than 10.5, then no, we wouldn't be able to buy a drink because it would have to be that and it would have to be also hot outside. from my understanding. Okay, thank you.